Hi guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with an updated Xayah complete guide for patch 2.4 onwards. Of course, currently at the moment we're on 2.4a, but it's just 2.4 onwards because that's where the items changed. So, Xayah of course is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best AD carries at the moment. I do think that she is S plus tier. Some people think that she's S tier, but most people agree that she is one of the best. Is whether you think that she's just the top tier or the second highest tier. But anyways, the main point of her is her safety. So you're gonna have 3 safety tools by the late game. So of course, first up is your ultimate itself, which you will have from level 5. Then in the mid game you will get a stasis. Now I honestly think that Xayah goes for stasis like 100% of the time. I have never gone for like Quicksilver or anything other than stasis, just because it's just another safety tool other than your ult that you can just stasis. And QSS, normally you don't really go for that on Xayah, because unlike other characters like, let's say, Xayah, you're not getting up close and personal. You'll always be kiting away or kiting towards an enemy, so there's always a distance between you and the enemy. If there isn't, you just root them with your E, so you don't really need Quicksilver. But we'll talk more about that in the items later. So your third safety tool is, for your last item, you always build Guardian Angel. So the Guardian Angel gives you a revive, which is your third safety tool. So at the late game, it's really hard to kill Xayah because she has 3 safety tools. Of course, if you don't have your GA up and you get insta bursted, you don't use your stasis and your ultimate, which does happen from time to time. Of course, that will happen, but hopefully that will not be the case for you guys in your games and for me as well. So as with the rest of the updated complete guides for the skills and ability order, I'm gonna link the previous Xayah complete guide in the description, as well as the cards above, in order to save time and in the interest of time, of course. So with that, let's just jump straight into the build. So there are 2 builds for Xayah, as I've mentioned in my Navori Quick Blades Xayah video. So there is the Solari combo, which is what I like to call these 3 items. And there is also the Navori, I guess you could call it combo as well. Personally, I prefer the Solari combo. Now the only real difference here is whether you go for Infinity Edge or whether you go for Navori Quick Blades. Now, if you go for Infinity Edge, your basic attacks are going to be hitting way harder, because your basic attacks will reach 100% crit after you use a spell because of the Charge Blade passive. And with the Infinity Edge, you get 55 AD compared to the Quick Blades, which you only get 45. The 10 AD is a little bit of a difference, but the main difference is that your crits will do 230% damage instead of 200% damage. So that's going to make your basic attacks hit way harder. Whereas for the Navori Quick Blades combo, with the Navori Quick Blades, you will get a little bit more ability haste, and when you crit, your ability cooldowns, that is your non-ultimate ability cooldowns, will decrease. So this allows you to cast your skills more often, so indirectly it is going to increase your skill damage, your ability damage, because you can cast your E more often, cast your Q more often, and such. So it's basically a trade-off between whether you have stronger basic attacks or stronger feather pullbacks, basically. Now, I personally prefer stronger basic attacks, and the reason for that is that when you get to higher elo, most people know how Xayah works, so most people will not get into positions where they can be rooted. So having more basic attack damage is a more consistent way of dealing out the damage, compared to if you have more ability damage. You have to get them with your feathers to do your main source of damage. So it's more inconsistent because of the fact that they won't be dumb enough to stand in between you and your feathers majority of the time, especially if you have a lot of feathers stacked up. So this is the build that I go for. The Essence Weaver first, of course, for the initial AD crit and ability haste, as well as the mana passive, because Xayah does not really have a lot of mana issues, but she can run out of mana in lane if you stay in lane for too long. And of course, increasing your ability damage on your abilities. For the boots, I normally go for Gluttonous Greaves, because there is no lifesteal in this build except for your Gluttonous Greaves and your Hunter Vampirism. So after that, unlike Lucian, I don't actually go for Infinity Edge first. I actually go for the Charge Blade first, Now the reason for that is Xayah does really well with ability haste, especially because with the Charge Blade first, you can actually get more, your abilities up more often and get more feather pools. And of course, Xayah also likes attack speed. So then after we go for the Infinity Edge, which is where we start hitting really hard. So after you hit your Infinity Edge, that's your most major power spike. After that, we move on to the Moral Reminder for the Grievous Wounds, because Xayah applies Grievous Wounds really easily because her feathers can pierce through all the enemies. So this is really good. We don't really like the Sorella's Grudge as much as the Moral Reminder, just because of how easily you can apply the Grievous Wounds. And with Xayah, you don't really want to slow for the chase, because you want people to be chasing you. You don't want to be chasing them if you can help it. So generally, Moral Reminder is better. And of course, as mentioned, for your last item, you always go for Guardian Angel, just in case you get insta-bursted. I always go for Guardian Angel instead of the Death's Dance. Of course, Death's Dance is also an option, but I just prefer the Guardian Angel for the AD, the armor, as well as the Resurrection passive. So for the runes, obviously Conqueror, no argument there. For the second one, you want to go for Hunter Vampirism 100% of the time, just because you don't actually have lifesteal in your build. You don't build Blade of the Rune King or any kind of lifesteal other than the Gluttonous Greaves. So these two are your only forms of lifesteal. I like to go for the Hunter Titan just in case I get jumped on and CC'd. So in the late game, this increases my chances of survivability, just because I get CC'd for less amount of time and I can ult or stasis if needed. And of course, we got Sweet Tooth for the laning phase. Spells as usual, it's Barrier and Flash, or Heal if needed. I'm just going to quickly cover the Navori Quick Blades combo. Essentially, the runes and the spells are the same. The only difference is that you go for the Navori Quick Blades instead of the Infinity Edge. Now, this is technically speaking a personal preference. As I said, I prefer the Infinity Edge build, but I do strongly believe that the Navori Quick Blades build is also just as viable, and Xayah is great with both the builds, which is why I say that in terms of like damage and power, I think both builds are equally as good. It's just a matter of personal preference, and as well as the concept that I mentioned just now, which is consistency, which is why I normally go for the Navori Quick Blades build. I'm sorry, not the Navori Quick Blades build, the Solari Charge Blade. Not the Solari Charge Blade, the Infinity Edge build. I'm not sure what I'm talking about there, but I normally go for the Infinity Edge build as shown here. This is the build that I normally go for. So, without further ado, let's quickly just jump straight into the gameplay. Alright, so on to the gameplay. This game is a banger, you guys will see later on. But, of course, if you guys like what you guys are seeing so far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, in this game, I'm playing Xayah against an Akali, a Malphite, and a Master Yi, as well as a Pantheon. So, basically, you want to be picking Xayah into a team that wants to engage on you, that wants to jump on you. So, who wants to jump on you? Pantheon wants to W on you, Master Yi wants to Q into you, Malphite wants to ult you, and Akali wants to E onto you, or wants to basically just dive you in the backline. So, a really good team to pick Xayah in is one with like maybe 2 assassins. Either that or a team where there are multiple people who want to jump onto you. In this case, basically everybody other than the Jhin wants to get onto me. If like Jhin was like a Kai'Sa or something, we'll have a full team of enemies who want to get onto you. So, in the laning phase, honestly, Xayah has a lot of pushing power. So something you want to avoid doing, which I find really hard myself, is to avoid pushing in. Because if you guys see, when you harass like that, you're naturally going to shoot through the minions. However, you can actually use the minions as a tool to extend the range of your auto attack. So if you guys didn't know, actually I did cover this in my previous complete guide. When you attack a minion at your max range, your feather is going to strike through the minion and travel a distance behind the minion. So you can essentially get a higher attack range by attacking through the minions. So that is a way to harass your enemy in the lane, and of course you want to be doing that as much as possible, especially in this lane where Malphite has a free point and click harass tool. I want to get awesome harass as well, so I can trade off pretty well. Here we are taking a trade. I get exhausted, and Jhin also gets exhausted. Here I'm gonna have to barrier to block Malphite's damage. Here I flash, Master Yi comes in, I proc his bone plating, I root him under the tower, he meditates, I live with 1 HP, and Janna shields me so I don't die, and we get the first blood on the Master Yi. Now that was insane. Now, if you guys see what I did there, I had already a lot of feathers on the ground from when we were trading against the Malphite and the Jhin. So of course I'm just running back all the way the moment I see the Master Yi. Here I'm gonna pick up another kill onto the Malphite. Jhin hightails it, but we're gonna pick up the Malphite at least. There we go. So, I have all the feathers on the ground. Obviously Master Yi is running straight for me. I'm just running like away from him but towards my tower at the same time, and with all my feathers on the ground, the moment he gets into my tower range, or actually the moment before he gets into my tower range, I press my E. So the moment he steps into the tower range, all my feathers are already on the way back, and he gets rooted right under the tower and tanks, I think, like 3 tower shots. And because of the Janna shield, he doesn't actually manage to kill me, and I actually survive and get the first blood. Later on, of course, converting it into a double kill. So of course, Master Yi did give me double buffs, so the kill onto the Malphite wasn't too hard, especially with the burn and the slow from the red buff as well. So now the enemies are in deep trouble because I'm of course level 5, I have 2 kills and I have double buffs. So I'm gonna have a lot of sustain, a lot of extra damage from the burn, and just a slow on my basic attacks as well. So here Jhin actually goes for his ultimate, a relatively good move, because if he actually hit all his shots on me, I would die. Here Master Yi again comes in. So if you guys see what I did there, the moment he was about to Q onto me, I pressed my ultimate. Now your ultimate makes you untargetable, so he can't actually Q onto you. So he actually Q'd onto the minions instead of me, because obviously I was in his Q range, but right before he pressed his Q, I managed to press my ult, which caused him to not be able to target me, so he instead Q'd the minions and wasn't able to follow me to where I am. So here we already have 2 amazing Xayah plays against Master Yi, which is why I think this video is, or not this video, this gameplay is amazing for making a complete guide on Xayah. So in this game, I obviously go for the Solari Charge Blade 3 item combo, the one with the Infinity Edge, not the Navori's Quick Blade. So this is a really fun and exciting game. We have more moments to come that are amazing from this game. I'm really proud of this game. It's one of my favorite games that I had in recent memory. Honestly, even though Xayah is really strong at the moment, I don't see her getting picked a lot. I think that there are 2 reasons for that. Firstly is she has a very unique playstyle of where you have to use the pullback on your feathers to get your main damage. Even with the Infinity Edge build where your basic attacks do a lot more damage, your main damage will always be the pullback on your feathers. So you have to be able to use the pullback on your feathers properly. So a lot of people don't really play Xayah a lot, or haven't really mastered Xayah, so they don't find her feather system really easy to play. Me myself, I took like 20 plus games to actually get good at Xayah, and even now sometimes I like don't use my ultimate in time, or you know, I just screw up in one way or the other. So Xayah isn't the easiest champion to play. You have to manage all your feathers on the ground, and you know how many feathers you have, whether you can hit your opponent with your feathers. So it's not a very easy champion to play. But when you can actually play her, it's really rewarding. Like Xayah is really strong at the moment. So here, of course, with the vision plant hit, we're just gonna clear out the enemy vision. Dragon is up, of course, but our team is apparently hovering around the Herald. Now this is really strange, because obviously Xin Zhao and Pantheon, the junglers, are both actually Pantheon isn't the jungler, he's the top laner. Xin Zhao and our Renekton as well as our Lucian are hovering around the Rift Herald area, so you would think that they want to pick it up, but eventually they just walk away from the Rift Herald, and instead Akali engages onto the Lucian, and Lucian is in trouble. But instead here, where we have a 2v3, we're going in onto the 3 of them. Of course, I'm really strong at the moment. I managed to get the root onto the Master Yi. Malphite is really low as well. Nice knockup by the Janna onto the both of them. I pick up the kill on the Master Yi, dodging the Jhin root. Janna kills off the Malphite, and I kill off the Jhin with 1 HP left. My Barra saves me from dying from the dragon, and thankfully the dragon resets. If the dragon didn't reset and auto attack me one more time, I would be gone, because I don't have my Barra anymore and Janna doesn't have her shield up. So instead, the dragon has not completely reset. So me and Janna are just gonna pick up the dragon, and we just win the 2v3. So this is the 3rd like epic moment that we had in this match, when me and Janna went in 2v3 on the Master Yi, the Malphite, and the Jhin. So now granted, although it was a 2v3, we are ahead. Like prior to that, I was actually 2-0, and I did have my Essence Reaver as well as my Gluttonous Grief. So I was really strong compared to Jin, who had not yet picked up his first item, and Malphite, who also had yet to pick up his first item. They of course now have their first item after they died and went back to base. Master Yi still has not completed his first item yet, which is the he's going for Blade of the Rune King. Of course, that's not the optimal build for Master Yi. But Master Yi has really become a menace now in the current meta, where he just got buffed in patch 2.4a, and he has a really good item build with the Navori's Quick Blades build from patch 2.4 onwards. So Master Yi getting to become a really popular jungler. Xayah is a relatively good pick into Master Yi because of all her safety. As you guys can see just now, two of Master Yi's ganks went horribly and left him like 2-0. Of course, he does manage to actually secure the Rift Herald just because my Xin Zhao, no idea what he's doing sitting in the bush in mid lane when my Lucian is backing. So clearly there's no gank opportunity there. So no idea what he's doing at all. Now you will realize that this game is just me and Janna carrying the whole game. Xin Zhao is already 0-2, and Lucian is 2-2, not too bad. Renekton is 1-2, so here we're so strong. We're just gonna go in and that's basically just gonna auto attack the Jin down. He can do nothing about it. Here we get the root off on the Malphite as well. Malphite actually has the ult away. I flashed to follow, but I don't actually manage to crit, unfortunately. If I crit, I might manage to kill him, but probably not, honestly. Instead, we're gonna settle for the first tower of the game, of course putting me and my team even more ahead. Now if you guys notice, like at this point my goal is like double of the Xin Zhao and like double of like near almost everybody at enemy team except for Akali, who is actually doing well as well. The Akali is 4-2-1, so Akali will be a problem later on if she does manage to get onto us. But for now, you know, she hasn't actually ganked my lane yet, and she's actually ganking the Renekton at the moment instead, so no issue there. So here we have a little bit of downtime. So as I always like to say, when you have downtime, just farm the jungle. The most junglers don't take the Krugs, so you always want to just take the Krugs when available. So here we're just going to pick up the Krug camp. Of course the wave is a little bit far up, but I do see the Malphite going to the mid lane, so I know it's at worst it's a 2v1 with me and me versus the Master Yi and the Jin, which is alright. So I feel safe enough to just walk up and pick up that minion wave. I'm just gonna, of course after that I'm just gonna back off. The minion waves reset. Akali actually shows up at my lane, and I actually saw her coming down from mid lane, so I didn't know that was the case. I quickly I ran back to my tower just so that there wasn't any funny business. Now Janna of course is here. Malphite and Akali are in the river, and of course it's prime time for a fight. It's another 2v3. Really nice ultimate by the Janna to disengage from the Akali, and nothing too much comes of the fight. It's just us trading a little bit of auto attacks here and there. Of course now I have really high lifesteal with my getting off my Hunter Vampirism on 3 people already and having my Gluttonous Grief, so I do have quite a bit of lifesteal now. So we can see Master Yi in the mid lane, so it's again a 2v3, but honestly at this point we're so ahead we can take a 2v3 easily. So here Janna unfortunately dies, but I do manage to pick up the kill on the Akali and the Jin. I ult, but Malphite really smart there. Malphite flashes over my ult, so he does understand how Xayah works. He flashes over my ult, so if he didn't flash over, not my ult, he flashed over my E. If he didn't flash over my E, he'd be eating like 11 feathers to the face and he's instantly dead. I did notice that the Master Yi was coming in from the river / the jungle area, so my goal there, I knew I was dead. I was just trying to get the kill on the Malphite before I died. So there's completely no way I'm gonna live there. There's no point in trying to run. So might as well try to pick up a kill before I die. Now if Malphite hadn't made that flash play, that would have been a guaranteed kill. No questions asked. But Malphite with a really smart flash there. Gotta give props to the Malphite. He clearly knows how Xayah works. Now Master Yi and Janna getting caught in a little bit of a 1v1. Fortunately, there's no way that Janna wins that 1v1. Master Yi decides he's strong enough to engage on me. Big mistake there. Here, Pantheon comes in, gets off the stun. I actually managed to out both the Akali and the Malphite. I managed to pick up the kill onto the Pantheon before I die. Now, of course, it was a 3-man dive on me in the bot lane. Really hard to survive that, even as a Xayah. And I haven't actually had my Guardian Angel or my Stasis yet. So I only have my ultimate, which I did use to the best of my ability. I mean, I avoided the Akali as well as the Malphite out at the same time. Honestly, there isn't really a better way for me to use my ult. That's the best outcome out for me there. But unfortunately, of course, I can't survive the 3-man dive. So at this point, we have our 3-item combo in addition to the Executioner's Calling as well. So we are really strong at the moment. We're gonna look to get a stasis next for the safety, of course. Now we have the damage. Now we just need the safety. So I'm just gonna come to the bot lane, just push out the wave. Of course, you never want the wave to be in your lane when the enemy tower is down. You want to push out the wave so you can rotate to other lanes. So we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna push out the wave and rotate to the mid lane. Checking for wards, checking for any enemies, nobody there. And it's just me and Xayah. We see Pantheon and Malphite. Akali shows up as well. So we don't really want to do anything funny, of course, because the entire rest of the team could be nearby and could rotate to our position. So instead, we're just going to recall. We're just going to pick up our stasis, which is getting increasingly important with us transitioning more or less into the mid game where we aren't in the laning phase anymore. So we have the threat of the Akali, we have the threat of the Master Yi. Of course, we still can be engaged upon by Malphite as well as Pantheon. So stasis really needed at the moment. Here Xayah is in trouble, so I'm gonna come and try to save her. Does it actually work out? I don't think so. Actually it does. Xayah actually does manage to escape. Pantheon here has overchased. I'm going to try to punish him. Unfortunately, I don't want to be overchased as well because I know the entire rest of the enemy team is behind him. So I'm not going to chase him too far. So nothing really comes of it. We both just trade health. And we have a lot of downtime. So instead of going back, I'm just going to pick up the honey fruit and just going to lifesteal off the jungle monsters. Because our bot wave is pushing up really far. I kind of walk all the way up there to get the wave. So instead, I'm just going to pick up the red buff. And with a downtime, that the team isn't really grouping or contesting any objectives or anything. So I'm just going to pick up the bot side jungle entirely. Of course, we pick up farm wherever we can find it. So picking up the red buff, picking up the raptors, and we're going to go for the Krugs as well. So, of course, if you can't get lane farm, just find any farm available, just farm wherever you can. Xin Zhao isn't anywhere nearby to farm his jungle anyway. Now the waves have collided, so we can pick up this wave, a minion, and as well as 2 cannons. And of course, with everything down in this entire quadrant of the map, we want to look to group. Of course, Baron is up, and our team is, I wouldn't say our team is ahead, but the main person in the team ahead is me. As you can see, that I have a huge goal difference. My entire team's goal difference with the enemy team is pretty much on me. Not entirely, but majority is on me. So we're hovering around the Baron area. I was thinking of contesting Baron, but everybody decides to back. My entire team decides to back. I don't want to back because I can't really buy anything. So I'm just gonna push out mid lane and get some mid lane priority, so that when we do want to contest an objective, which appears to be the dragon at the moment, we do have the priority there. So yes, of course, Infernal. Our team is gonna get there into the pit first to, of course, gain the positional advantage. Master Yi is in the area. Xin Zhao with a nice engage. I'm just gonna auto technique Master Yi down. Malphite turns up, hits us with his ult. I don't choose to ult that. I knew he was gonna ult, but I choose not to ult that because there is no threat, because there is no follow up. Malphite is building full tank, so if he ults in by himself, he can really not do anything. Now our whole team is chasing with the Akali. I don't think that that's a good idea. I want to go for the dragon, but I end up waffling around, deciding whether to help my team or not. Eventually, I do show up, but my team has already secured the kill, so I'm gonna return back to the dragon and just pick up the dragon. So me and Xin Zhao is enough to pick up the dragon. Meanwhile, the rest of my team is going to be chasing the Pantheon, and they do not actually manage to pick up the kill, unfortunately. But me and Xin Zhao burst the dragon really fast. We have, of course, picked up all 3 dragons, and I'm gonna back because I can actually buy items now, which is my moral reminder, and getting a cloth armor as well. Don't want the dagger, we want the cloth armor. So here we pick up the cloth armor as well, just for a little bit more armor. So I'm going to hit over to the top lane just to clear out the minion wave, which is clearly pushing onto the tower, picking up some essential farm. We're really close to full build, nearly got the Guardian Angel. And yeah, so we're gonna see our next insane play relatively soon. Giving you a minor spoiler, it's at the Baron pit. So of course we don't have much to farm, so we're gonna head back to the bot side jungle to farm. Of course we're gonna pick up the red buff first. We did pick up the blue buff from Master Yi off the kill, but it has just expired. So unfortunately my whole team begins to int, and basically Xin Zhao dies, and Lucian and Renekton has died previously, so enemy team has the green light to go for Baron. Now I don't blame the enemy team here. This is the correct decision. If I was the enemy team, I would be going for Baron as well. But unfortunately me and Jenna are still up, and we are carrying the game. So here I dodged the Akali E. Boom, we kill basically all of them off. Master Yi is down, which is the most important kill. And I'm going to chase for the Pantheon, flashing forward, getting a triple kill onto the Pantheon. So, of course, Master Yi is the prime target. Akali really a good target as well because of how fed she is. And of course, we did manage to avoid the Akali E, which is really essential, so she couldn't actually get onto me. If I got hit by the Akali E there, she probably would have gone for the ult, and I might have actually just died there. But instead, me and Janna goes for the 2v3 yet again in our fourth epic play of this match. We won a 2v3 at the Dragon as well. Now we win a 2v3 at the Baron as well. We are just carrying this game. So that is it for the game, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Xayah complete guide. This gameplay was completely nutty, completely insane. So as usual, I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats. So thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.